Hey, folks, you got a couple of happy hosts on your hands today. I'm Rachel Scose, my partner in crime here, Blake McKenzie. It's a happy day. Trump said in his first day, you'll be winning so much, you'll be sick of winning. Huge win, big win. The big, beautiful bill, titled today's episode. It's been passed after Hakeem Jeffries, Obama Light, spent 8 hours and 45 minutes, setting an all-time record of filibustering. Congratulations, Pelosi. Applause for you, motherfucker. And, and of course it did nothing. The two holdouts were Thomas Massie, North Carolina, to no one's surprise, and the idiot, I forget his name, Fitz Clark or something, over in Pennsylvania. And his main sticking point was, oh, we got to get more money going to the Ukraine. Absolute moron. Of course, these two idiots need to be primary to hell and back coming up. Don't screw around with MAGA. We will kick your ass. And I'm so glad that Trump and Mike Johnson, I'm no fan of Mike Johnson. He's more of an establishment type. But props and credit where it's due. He worked very hard. Holdouts, there were a number of holdouts, and they got them on board. And what's in the bill, and we'll cover this. Let's show a couple of things, Blake, and then I'll let you share your bit on this, because I want to hear what your take is on it. Yeah, we're aware it's not all great, it's not all good, but we still want to do it. There should be a clip, Sue, with it just goes the big, beautiful bill. The BBB passes. That's the one I want to see. I want to say thanks to Sue, who's here with us daily in behind scenes, grabbing the links for us and everything. Makes our job easier. I just want to play the moment it all happened. This was a long wait. Make it go full size, and we'll give them the best we can give them, Sue. Thank you so much.
On this vote, the yeas are 218, the nays are 214. The motion is adopted. On this vote.
All right, short and sweet. The gavel swings. This bill, the big, beautiful bill, now makes its way to President Trump's desk. It's looking at my little calendar. It's July 3rd. Happy birthday, America. I believe your president just delivered you an absolutely wonderful birthday present in the form of this big, beautiful bill. And I just want to do one more thing. Sue, can you go to Bo Luden status? And it's called The Bill. I just want to draw out the highlights and why I think, regardless of whatever the hell else is going on with this thing, it had to pass. It's going to be a real blessing to the American people when you just simply read it this way. There's going to be 10,000 more ICE agents. There's going to be 3,000 more border patrols. And it's finally into law. What we couldn't do in the first term for Trump is finally law. Build that big, beautiful wall. And we just got a report that in last month, 0 illegal immigrants were recorded as being picked up by the Border Patrol, Department of Homeland Security, entering the United States.
Wow.
It's an incredible achievement. So the border wall, fully funded. Planned Parenthood, defunded. There's no frickin' way that people on our side of the aisle should be supporting the murder of unborn children. And that's what we call it, murder of unborn children. There's no way, two ways about it from our perspective. Mass deportations moving into turbo drive. Now get this, I'm an elder, I'm 67. There is no tax on Social Security. Do you know what that means for old folks not to have your little pittance that the government gives you and not to tax it? Let the old people who have served their country, who have fed into the system, who have supported the country, let them have their money without, ripping them off and sending it back to the government, just so they can send it off to Vladimir Zelensky over in the Ukraine and other senseless means of money. No tips, no taxes on tips. Now, this is not restricted to the restaurant industry. People are concerned about that. This includes all industries where tips are a typical kind of process. If you're a doorman at a big hotel, if you're a bellhop, all these people, a nail technician, anybody getting a tip, and there is a limit. Like you have to be making under $100,000 or something. I mean, the kind of money, it's just absolutely extra to have that kind of paycheck. And no tax on overtime. My God, my friend Marty is a truck driver, does a lot of overtime. Now, businesses will still do it, and it's not going to hurt the business. It just means the government isn't going to be able to take that money away from him for the extra work he does. So it's not going to be a case where the business owner tries to hurt the employee, say, well, if you're going to be like that, then I'm not going to give you any overtime. We're just going to have to tighten our belts. It's not going that way. I love this comment. Social Security should not be taxed at all. Never should have been. Absolutely. I could not agree more.
That's the same with income tax.
And income tax. Income tax, yep. I'd love to see that go. Blake, take it away. All this becomes law once President Trump signs a big, beautiful bill into law, which he's doing tomorrow. That's already scheduled to occur. Blake, take it away.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be a major televised event. So I think everybody will be watching that pen sign that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I've been texting with some of my colleagues in the industry,
yes.
Which almost all of them operate in the United States because there's very few of us left in Canada since our government doesn't seem to enjoy vacation rental management. But regardless, they're happy. It means a lot more money for small business. You get a tax credit that so your business tax goes down. But the big thing is people's salaries change spectacularly. Yeah. The amount of money people are going to be able to have in their pocket, unless, of course, be angry with your states or your local cities if they try and claw it back by adding their own taxes, because they usually do that. So watch out for that and fight local. But the point is, you're going to have, I was just looking online on the whitehouse.gov link, and it gives you some examples of how much the big, beautiful bill is going to save you money. You can change your salary. If you scroll down there a little bit, you'll see it. There's an area where you can change what you get paid. Keep going down. You'll see it. And right now, just saying like a weekly base pay is $500. Your tip amount is $200. Your weekly overtime premium is, say you made $100 in premium. There's a calculator right there. That's what I was talking about. And it gives you an idea of what your savings per week is. And that's somebody who's making, basically $2,000 a month salary. They're making, maybe $800 a month in tips. And they're doing another $400 in overtime. So they're going to save $36 a week extra. Savings per month, $154. That's $1,854 a year. That goes a long way, especially with, hopefully the cost of living will go down. And we don't see the inflationary side. We hope that side continues to get reduced, so that these savings can be true savings and not get eaten up by the hidden tax.
Yeah, can you imagine what kind of impetus into the economy that's going to be? So suddenly you find, that depending on what your kind of monthly wage is, but that's disposable income that's coming into the hands that wasn't in our hands before, in the hands of the American people.
We can buy some steaks.
Yeah, well, let's go buy a nice steak. And don't genetically modify it, you mofos. Don't play around with it. We're just a nice, normal, healthy.
Well, just imagine every month you have if you're a single person and that's not a lot of money, like $24,000 a year salary plus tips and all that might get you to $30,000 a year, and some overtime. That is at the very base that you're going to put $1,854 more in your pocket on average. And of course, that's going to adjust by each state, and if you've got different income taxes at a local level. But in some of the states where there is no income tax, you're going to be doing fantastic. So you might see a stampede to some of these states where there's even a better tax advantage, and it'll make states have to be far more competitive without the federal government
Well,
squeezing.
yeah, there's more surprises coming. Like they are working on ending the count of non-Americans in the census, and that's going to be another punch in the nose to the Democrats, which I don't know what their approval ratings are. But Blake, I mean, can you imagine once this starts sinking into becoming your social reality? People, this is going to change. This is going to change hearts and minds. This is winning hearts and minds. I believe it will, because it went at the bottom line when you go, holy crap! There's no tax on that. Like you're worried about your little check. Oh, it's all ours. No, nobody can take that away from us that we're getting for the government. I think it's just absolutely a beautiful thing, a wonderful thing. You know, it's of the people, by the people, for the people. That's the Constitution. It's not for the politicians, not the non-term limited politicians. They're sitting in their ivory towers, able to just arbitrarily make these decisions and without a heart, without a care. They just, oh, you're just going to do this. There's so much happening.
And usually when people are happy and they're making money and they're getting to keep more, they also support a lot more voluntary organizations where you can donate to nonprofits and do that. Not what's happened with all of the government sucking up all of control over where your nonprofit dollars go because they decided to compete on that side of it. So again, if you're involved with a charity and organizing, more happy people, wealthy people tend to contribute more to those organizations.
Yeah, and the bill, I do believe, has some language in it about taking the illegals off Medicaid. Like they're gone, they're off, they can't access it. And other government programs as well. There's been a lot of money for these illegals where they're getting a lot of this stuff. Isn't this bill going to take millions of people off Medicaid, though? I don't know, Nick. I really don't. We're going to have to see how that, because I haven't read all of that. I'm just stating the main points that are going to make a real impact on people's lives.
I heard Trump saying he's not.
You're going to go. Go ahead.
I think Trump actually stated his intent was not to gut Medicaid from American citizens. So he wants to make sure the people who are using it are the actual citizens who paid into it.
Yeah, I think that's the main interest, the main focus on that. They're trying to get the illegals off it, but not the American citizens. And there's a lot happening with American citizens right now. Loki came in yesterday. I like Loki. I love Loki. He's a friend. He's a big supporter of me financially. I have a Patreon. And he's a good guy, but he's a leftist, right? There's no doubt. And he's saying, oh, the unemployment is going to be up. And Trump's in trouble. Unemployment, the numbers are horrible. Well, we just got those numbers in. And they're coming in from multiple reports. I want to play them. And I just want to read this here. Medicaid is not going to be touched. He said it over 6 times the last 2 weeks in interviews. All right. So there you go. Medicaid is not going to be touched. CNN layoffs. Sue, have you got that one? Oh, this is a good one. I know what this is. This is good. Okay. Weird. Is it weird that the jobs report during Biden's term were almost always revised downward? This is the games they play. And Trump's are revised upward. So what you've got here is, it's so small on the screen, folks. I do apologize for that. It's kind of as big as we can get it. But basically, what happened, if you scroll down, I think Zero Hedge covers it. April has been revised up by 11,000 from 147 to 158,000 jobs up. May has been revised from 5,000 up by 5,000 from 139,000 to 144,000. So it's psychological warfare. The idea is that they underreport how good the economy is, how good things are going with the president. And they say, oh, that's not looking that good. So that people like Loki stumble along. They read that report and then they go, bad news for Trump.
Just read the Doge AI comment.
Okay, well, where's okay, hang on. We got another one. Okay, so then we've got this comment coming in from an entity known as Doge AI. The numbers don't lie. Biden's Labor Department oversold job growth by 818,000 positions, the largest downward revision since 2009. This is not a clerical error. It's systematic manipulation to prop up a failing narrative. While bureaucrats padded stats to hide economic decay, Trump's show more are already reversing the damage, exposing the rot beneath DC smoke and mirrors governance. The pattern's clear. Bloated agencies cook the books under weak leadership, then scramble when accountability arrives. Time to audit every federal data set and purge the swamp's math.
Amen.
So this is what we're finding. So, Sue, can you grab, let's go job report from the Account Amuse job.
And just on that point, we
Yeah.
know on both sides of the border,
Just
both
keep
in
going,
Canada,
job report film.
how they
Sure,
keep
like-
pumping those
We did that
numbers
one already.
is they fake it by mass hiring through government.
Oh.
And they bring in countless people into government, bloat them up with seats, and basically people collecting paychecks. Also adds to the voter database for those governments that want to use government employees as a way to bolster their vote. But that's a big part of how they do that. And I've seen that here in Canada. It's horrible. We have a bloated bureaucracy here as well. They do the same thing. They pump up job numbers. And then you look carefully into them. It's actually government growth is outpacing private sector growth in many of those cases.
Yeah, and which is horrific. And of course, we know that the government never makes money. It just spends money, and it spends our money. It's horrific. I just want to play the film here. Well, we can read the thing, but we'll play the clip as well. Breaking: United States adds 147,000 jobs, smashing expectations by tens of thousands of dollars. Unemployment 4.1%, again, beating expectations. Let's let the...
It's possible. We'll know shortly. Obviously, it's the big June jobs report. I wouldn't look for this to make an easy more likely. 147,000 jobs. Definitely a bit better than expected, no matter what your range was, whether it was closer to 100 or 115,000. It's a pretty good number. And guess what? If we look at the 2-month revision, it's positive. It's up 16,000. How does 147 stack up? Well, it's pretty odd because it's exactly where we were in April, unless they revise that. To find a higher number than that, well, you're going back to last year. So this is tied for the, second best, tied for the first best number of job creation of the year. Now, let's look at the numbers for unemployment rate. That number is coming in at, well, it's coming in at... Where is it to underemployment? There it is, 4.1%. Sorry, folks, we do this on the fly. 4.1%, and obviously 4.1 equals where we were in February to find a lower unemployment rate the beginning of the year when it was at 4%. Now, if we look at average hourly earnings, up 0.2, we're looking for up 0.3, and the rearview mirror is up 0.4. Up 0.2 equals where we were in April. To find a lower number, you really have to go back in the Wayback Machine. You're going all the way back to August of 23 when it was up 0.1. So earnings are something to pay attention.
All right, that's amazing. So, I mean, the economy's on fire. And right now, I'm going to do this live. I'm just going to go stock market. Let's see what happens. Stock markets. Now, of course, we've just had the big, beautiful bill go by. So I'm going to make this big on my own. I'm just going to see roll the dice, see what the hell we get here. So anyway, I mean, this is the winning, the good news. CNBC, Dow jumps more than 300 points. S&P 500 sets new record after strong June job, blah, 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 20 minutes ago because of those job reports. Yahoo Finance, S&P 500, NASDAQ clinch records for a third time this week as optimism sweeps. Dow Jones futures market hits highs into holiday. Tesla rival Uber leads 5 stocks. Oracle Datalog lead Thursday's market cap stock movers. Investing.com, and so on and so forth. But the markets are red hot, and this is why Trump was saying America is red hot right now. The winning is off the charts. The economy performing far beyond what they were expecting it to do. Not only with unemployment which is low. Now, Canada, where the hell are we with our unemployment? Canada,
Yeah, it's
unemployment. What number are we putting up? I think we're
well.
around-
I saw we were in some areas that it was hitting as high as 8 to 9%.
Oh, wow.
And that's in some. That's not all across Canada. It depends on where you are, but places like British Columbia has had a net migration loss
Yeah.
of people that are exiting British Columbia and going elsewhere.
Yeah, I
So
wish I could get the hell out of town. Canada unemployment rate, here we go. The unemployment rate in Canada rose to 7% in May of 25, accelerating from 6.9 the previous month and hitting its highest level in nearly 4 years since September 21. This exceeded market expectations to 6.9. The rise can be attributed to a significant increase in number of jobless individuals. And of course, Blake, Canada is adding to its woes because of its out of control immigration. America's like on an escalator going up, and we're on one going down. They're going to heaven. We're going straight to hell here in an environmentally sound handbasket in order to protect the beavers. But
and there's
not.
and there's Trump with his hand out going, come with me to Canada. And we're all going, elbows up. He's like, no, come for the ride, folks.
Yeah.
It's like, get rid of all your crazy taxes and tariffs and market monopolies.
The contrast between, this amazing, this juggernaut of industry, this United States, and Canada's socialist green energy policies, all that bullshit, we're just failing. We're a failed state. It's getting worse all the time. No better time to be an American citizen than right now, kids. An American citizen. Bad time to be an illegal. Probably you're doing better as an illegal in Canada. Illegals, you better be trying to get out of Alligator Alcatraz and get yourselves up to Canada. We'll give you a hotel and free, a whole bunch of stuff. I think they make $80,000 a year or something.
Yeah, it's something ridiculous with all the lodging paid for, the food.
No, it's like 142,000.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Add it to a family from somewhere beyond, and it's way beyond what any Canadian can make right now on average. But yeah, you're seeing that dramatic change. And one thing that should be covered in that is ever since Trump got elected and since Carney's got elected, Canada has seen upwards of $500 billion of investment capital exit the country.
What?
Wow.
That's
Gone.
private money going into building businesses and spurring on the economy in Canada has exited to the United States. So it doesn't matter. I was listening to Kevin O'Leary, and he made some valid points about New York, but you could say the same thing about Canada. He says it's now becoming a flyover zone, for investors. They're just going right over it and disappearing, right? They're not going to put money into a failed system full with progressive losers that have no idea on how business works and how you help people get ahead. Because everywhere there's a progressive, there's high taxes, difficult for living, horrible housing shortages because they're also NIMBYs. So that's the thing. But they'll build it in your backyard, but not there. But that's the point, is that they've created economic hellholes everywhere. You need to learn from this, Canada. You want to follow? Take Trump's hand on this. He's offering an option out. And he may be the best prime minister that Canada ever had if he keeps collapsing all of our tax systems, our market monopolies.
Well, yeah, again, the contrast, and it's like that meme, where you got the third world, kind of like a Brazilian slum, the tin roofs, or, something out of South Africa. What was that movie where the guy turns into a lobster? Anyway, but anyway, so you got the slum, and then you got, elbows up out of the slum, and then right across the border, on the same border, right across, you got, pools and beautiful green manicured yards and homes and prosperity. USA, contrasting the two, elbows up retards, because America's on a trajectory to success thanks to Donald John Trump, and Canada and Europe and the rest of what used to be the free world is on the decline. I mean, it couldn't be more stark, and I think it's going to become only more obvious, the contrast in coming days, coming months, coming years, as we see the actual physical of effects of all this.
You're right. It's going to collapse. I mean, the system is in a landslide in Canada now. It is not being slowed down. We have every aspect of our social safety nets can't keep up with the mass influx of immigration, can't keep up with doctors and the universal health care, 100% making it illegal for doctors to operate outside of the system. We've got a mayor begging for an ambulance to be able to come to their town, and they can't. People have to drive 3 hours with their person who just had a heart attack or is dying to get any kind of medical care because our government can't afford anymore an ambulance drivers to go.
Well, we got to charge our EV ambulance. We'll be there once we get her all charged up. Hang on.
But just imagine if you had these tax cuts that the big, beautiful bill's bringing into the U.S. and the DOGE aspect of reducing the cost of government, because he can't do it all in one fell swoop, but I can tell he's going to do it over a few years. It's going to be a gradual decline on dependency on government, because as I said before, to knock out, hundreds of thousands of government workers out of the workforce overnight would kind of hit your jobless numbers pretty hard quick. But the benefit is the private sector goes explosive. There's going to be lots of jobs for people to go to. You might not be, you might have to learn a new trade, get a blue collar trade. You can't push pencils for $150,000 a year. You're going to have to go and learn how to drive a truck or work a backhoe or use a shovel in your hand. But the fact is that, Canada's going to see a brain drain like never before. In the 1990s, we complained about it. When Chrétien took over power in Canada, there was a brain drain. We were down to, in early 2000, I think we were at about a 60-cent dollar. It was ridiculous. And people were leaving Canada en masse. And guess where they were going? For the most part, to the U.S. That is going to be on steroids. Absolute steroids. People are leaving. Young people in Canada are already doing it. They're already wanting to go. So boomers with your elbows up, wake up. Who's going to be left to support your retirement if you're driving out the youth out of your country? Because the Gen Zs are not following the millennials and being all lefty and progressive. They're doing the opposite.
Yeah. I agree. And you know what? Here's the thing, because, there was an article, and that the establishment is freaked out there. I'm seeing reports like youth or the new generation has never been more patriotic. And I call bullshit on that. I think they're panicked. I think they're trying to fake this patriotism thing, this nationalist pride in Canada where there is none, because you're going to get your asses kicked by the juggernaut south of the border. And the contrast will not be more, could not be more apparent, more striking and especially as Canada continues to go down, America, it's only going to get wider. Here's a beautiful statistic came out today. Just love this. Wow, what an amazing turnaround. Thank you, President Trump. This is what I voted for. Native-born workers saw an increase of 830,000 workers into the economy, while foreign-born workers saw a decrease of 348,000. America is going back to Americans. Imagine that. What a novel, what a radical idea that is. And, it shouldn't be Tim-migrants at Tim Hortons. You go to your Tim Hortons, it should be loaded up with a bunch of teenage Canadian kids, beautiful Canadian kids born and raised here. Rather, these temporary foreign workers have no loyalty to the country, don't give a fucking rat's ass. And of course, you hear the reports of Hep C breaking out at Tim Hortons. So you go, geez, I wonder why. I saw a horrific thing today. One of our newcomers was washing his ass in a pool. So the guy's at a public pool, the camera's gone, and the guy's just jigging it down into the little crack, getting the poo-poos out. And they just give it a little squirtle in the chlorine. Back into this little pump he goes. Squirtle, squirtle, squirtle. Listen, I don't want this in Canada. I don't think it needs it. I don't want poo-poo water. Okay, I'm making it, Blake. I don't care what you say. You may be in favor of poo-poo water, but I'm saying say no to poo-poo water. I think
It's like
all wrong.
the kiddies pool in the old days.
It was just nuts. I mean, it's out there. So
They'd have so much chlorine that your eyes would be swollen shut.
you want your eyes swollen shut. You don't want to see that.
You're looking like Rocky.
Hey, and the big beautiful bill, one of the things that it's also doing is the men and the women's sports thing. Listen, full disclosure, I'm a fun-loving tranny. I sit around and I strut about in my shirts here like this. But I'm telling you, like there's no way I'm going to go compete against a biological female like my beautiful Scoozy, right? 5'4", absolutely adorable. But, if I could sit her, I could crush her. Did you hear about that? In fact, that happened. Some poor girl got sat on by an overweight Starbucks manager. The manager was, and it killed the poor thing. She was like 18 years old trying to get a job. Poor little kid. It's one of these kids that actually did manage to get a job instead of
She was killed?
She was murdered by her manager because the manager was rather heavy set and just sat on her. I guess suffocated her to death with her blubber. Now, Blake, I've been working very hard on trying to drop the pounds.
I'm working with you on that one.
I gotta love this. Fun Loving Tranny is the name of my new band. Attaboy.
Great name.
Yeah. You gotta use
That's
it.
right up there with naming your band Free Beer. If you want a full house at your pub, just go sit with Free Beer playing at.
Oh my God. Okay, Sean Howard with shocking news coming out of where the hell are we? In Austin, Texas. In Austin, it's a big liberal enclave in a beautifully red state, but Austin's liberal as hell. You have the homeless pleasuring themselves at Barton Springs Pool, and the lefties just love them. I did my share of trying to help, but I am fed up. Well, how the hell can you help there? Here's a napkin. I got it. Here, gotta clean that up, Jose. What are you going to do with that? It's crazy. There's no hope for that. Jace Farley, Sue. Yes, she does. But that's incredible. So we're seeing jobs for Americans rising to the tune of thousands. And then we're seeing a subsequent decrease in foreign occupied jobs. America is for Americans. Join in, become an American citizen, pledge allegiance to the country, to the flag, honor America, and America will welcome you with open arms. And it doesn't matter whether you're from Palestine or whether you're from France or from Nigeria. It doesn't matter. Come in as whatever you are, become an American, and support the country, and God bless you, and God bless you. All right, Sue, let's take a look here. Are we going to Alcatraz? What do we got here? Breaking, CNN is forced to admit the number of layoffs has dropped by 49% due to Trump's, quote, booming economy. The report's paint a picture of a job market that's better than feared. Make it big and let's enjoy CNN.
Egan joins me now. Give us some context here on what this report tells us about the economy and what you're seeing.
Well, Sarah, this report paints the picture of a jobs market that is holding up better than feared. Layoff announcements skyrocketed earlier this year, but thankfully they are coming back to earth. So Challenger Gray and Christmas found that in June, there were about 48,000 layoff announcements. That is down sharply by 49% from May, and it is even a little bit lower, 2% lower than last June. And when we look at the trend for layoff announcements, they were trending higher and higher earlier this year. This looks back to the beginning of 2024, and you can see they were really low last year, skyrocketed around February and March. In fact, March was about 5 times higher than June, and this, of course, was driven in large part by DOGE, right? The government official.
Egan joins me now. Give us some context here on what this report.
All right. So even CNN having to eat crow and admit that, the economy is on fire. We just saw this. Now, Trump called last night, with everything going on, Trump said, I want to see Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve. I want him fired. You resign right away. Get rid of that guy. And because if they do, as Vinyl Gorilla mentioned earlier in the program, out in the comments, he says, if they can get the interest rates down the way they're supposed to be, this economy is jet fuel. And it's the real deal. I saw one headline out there. It said, Trump's economy is the real deal. This is not dust in the wind. This is real power, real change, real prosperity coming to real Americans. God bless America. God bless you all. You are indeed blessed. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. Trump pays homage to the Lord. Remember, he did the thing. He says, thank God. When they did the strike on Iran, the president said, we love you, God. We love you, God. Thank you. And when you acknowledge the Lord this way, and it's not, the God of Islam, it is the Christian God that he's referring to. Praise God. And that blessed is that nation. Blessed is that nation. That's a promise of Scripture. And I will honor them who honor you. It's unbelievable. Blake, I just finished reading the book of Esther. Tears are in my eyes when you read Esther. Her cousin Mordecai out there doing the thing. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful story of redemption, of victory, having your enemies fail in all their attempts to thwart you, to mean your destruction. And God raises you up and blesses you beyond all belief. It's absolutely wonderful, wonderful story. Everybody should read the book of Esther. All right, everybody should read their Bibles. Okay, even Bloomberg's astounded at how strong the job numbers came in. Trump is setting America on track for a, quote, renaissance. Thank you, POTUS. Let's see here.
And this is good news, much better than expected. An upside surprise on headline payrolls, 147, the estimate 106. The unemployment rate was at 4.2. In our survey, economists were looking for that to climb up to 4.3. It comes in at 4.1. And if you want some high-frequency data, or at least some higher-frequency data, jobless claims, much lower than expected. Across the board here in the labour market, this is a pretty solid read. And this is good news, much better than expected. An upside surprise on headline payrolls, 147, the estimate 106. The unemployment rate was at 4.2. In our survey, economists were looking for that to climb up to 4.3. It comes in at 4.1.
All right. So even Bloomberg reading the writing on the wall. I mean, this is just astounding. These numbers are absolutely astounding. Okay, I love this. I'm even coming in late. I'm fairly sure the episode title is not about Clinton, no matter how big his saxophone was.
Holy blue dress.
Yeah, oh my God. Yes. Oh, there's no James Farley. We can send you over there to clean up that mess too. But anyway, Ed is crazy.
I changed my background just for Sean because I was just there a couple
months
ago.
Okay. So you got Austin going. All right. Okay. So Microsoft announces 9,000 layoffs in their gaming business. Microsoft's got a lot of problems. The gaming industry's in trouble. The gaming industry, you can sell a game. You can make a lot of money with video gaming, but you got to make the right game. If you make this left-leaning woke crap, those sales go down. People don't buy that in large number. And when they don't buy it in large number, you're not going to make money. And when you don't make money, you got to have layoffs. All right. So you make a game that the people like and it'll sell. I'm playing Oblivion Remaster. Now it's a little woke. It's a little crazy. I'm aware of it. Like it's got elves and shit. It's all out of European history with demons and, it's European sensibilities of altars and acolytes and, vampires, all this Western stuff. But they got a bunch of, African Americans back there in whatever time frame it is, they're all over the place. And no problem with that. That's great. But, for authenticity purposes, suspension of belief, disbelief, maybe, you might want to, minimize that a little bit, make it a better game. Do Wakanda and just load it up with Africans. That'd be fantastic. I guess 2.67 a gallon here today. First time since 2021. Holy smokes. Quite the opposite, liberal hero. America is going to prosper like never before. We just found out, motherfucker, there is no tax on Social Security. God bless the old people of America who live their lives giving everything to the country. No tax on overtime. No tax on tips. Praise God. Praise God for this president. I'm sorry, Porch Pineapple, but your liberal lifestyle of swinging has got you in trouble and it's warped your viewpoint. There's no hope for you other than in a beloved Lord Jesus. There's time to repent.
Tell them about the lady I saw in the pharmacy.
Oh yeah, Sue. Well, why don't you tell the story? It's your story. This is a nice nice.
Okay,
girl
well,
voice.
this is, I haven't heard this before. There's a lady in the pharmacy aisle talking to someone else in the pharmacy aisle. And she's going on about, Trump is only trying to protect his country with these tariffs. We need a Trump up here in Canada. And I just looked at her and went, I'm going to give you a big amen to that. And she said, you have a great day. It was cool.
Fantastic.
You never hear people talking openly
Well,
about
the
Trump.
media, yeah, because the
They're
media won't
terrified
do
to
it.
open their
Things
mouths.
are changing rapidly, and of course the Dow Jones up 300 points today. Porch Pineapple, suck on that. Incredible. 800,000 plus jobs added for American-born workers into the economy is just incredible. Okay, I've just received a very important message from my co-host in the private chat. Blake, comment?
I'll be right back.
Okay, Blake's got to go poo-poo. He'll be right back. Just take your time. Take a magazine. I find if you have a magazine in there.
No, it's not that. It'll be like 2 minutes.
take
I'll
your
take a ton
time.
of coffee here.
Yeah, okay, so you can go
I'll be right back.
an avatar. There we go. BM. Bowel movement. Never.
Oh.
Hey, he's got to go poo-poo. Listen, it's just human. Okay, we're just human around here. Okay, Vinyl Gorilla Records correct. Views are changing. Good people on the left with discernment are figuring it out. And you know what? They're going to figure out even more when the realities of these real world savings start impacting their own wallets, their own purses. It's going to be an amazing thing. So yeah, Porch Find, of course, Scoozy's here. We got Scoozy in the background helping us out. Maybe a robot can make your coffee. Maybe a robot could. The point is that there's still going to be jobs. It all has to be balanced out, right? James, don't be afraid of the robot, Rosie the robot. The Jetsons seem to get along fine at Costly Cogs and what was the name? Sprousley Sprockets, Spacely Sprockets. Anyway, they seem to do okay. So even with Rosie the robot helping it, gee, Mr. J. Rachel, I just have to say, you look great. Jace Farley, I have to tell you. Got on the scales today, ladies and gentlemen, full disclosure. I got a little Parkered. Okay, a little Parkered. I was like a little heifer. I was like a big heifer. I was like a big gorilla. I was bigger than Vinyl Gorilla. And I was 309 pounds like 4 months ago. And today I got on the scale 241 down for 309, 241. And it's getting better every day. So I work out. I'm looking at this real
Ben and Jerry's.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Ben and Jerry's. Hey, you like ice cream, kids? Here's a good story from Ben and Jerry's. This is just nuts. Okay. This is a great count. Terror. This is the way. Breaking. Unilever is cutting off millions in funding to Ben and Jerry's, the ice cream kings, after it was revealed that the subsidiary was quietly funding radical pro-Hamas. Pro-Hamas. Hamas. Unilever cuts off millions of funding Ben and Jerry's charity over donation of pro-Palestinian groups. Report, good. Well done. Wait, how does this work? I thought Unilever owned Ben and Jerry's. So the data Republicans go and say, what? Wait. But Ben and Jerry's Unilever is... there's some trouble with Ben and Jerry's the ice cream. We don't have, thank God. I'm pretty sure we don't have Ben and Jerry's up here. Did they show up for a hot minute in the old Mayfair Mall in Victoria? Was Ben and Jerry's there? I think they were there for a hot minute.
Yeah, a hot minute.
But I don't think they lasted. I don't
recall Ben and Jerry's here, but they may have.
You know where they were? They were right across. They were kitty cornered to Purdy's Chocolates.
Yeah. There.
Purdy's Chocolate, and then Ben and Jerry's was there at Mayfair.
Yeah, they used to have at Purdy's. You'd go for the dip. They would give you the Revelo without the chocolate, and they would dip it in chocolate and roll it in peanuts for you.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
but if we did, so anyway, I think they didn't last, but I'm telling you, if Ben & Jerry's was here, I'd fucking boycott them. Blake, is there any companies that you consciously boycott? I can tell you 2 right now. Ben & Jerry's, I'd never buy a single thing for those motherfuckers. The other group I wouldn't buy from is Nike. I've boycotted Nike for years.
I won't even buy Nike shoes in the thrift store. Even if there's a brand new pair of Nikes, I'm not picking them up. I'm not wearing them. No way.
You just leave them.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm wearing that stuff. Yeah, I made a conscious decision not to.
If I'm aware, I won't buy.
Yeah. Blake, any company?
Yeah, for the most part, Disney, because all their shows now suck.
Okay, Disney does that, but there are other ones that got the woke mind viruses. Elon Musk talks about it. You know, the woke
and China's influence on them.
China's showing their influence. We talked about that yesterday. Marco Rubio identifying China as problematic. Oh, Bud Light. Bud Light. I'm not buying any of their stuff, and they're everywhere in Canada. There's no way on earth I'd buy a Bud Light product. No way.
Well, it's bad beer, anyways. Ugh.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's sugar beer, but but sometimes, like, you're at a restaurant and they go, "Well, what do you got?" You know, they go, "Well, we got Bud Light." You know, that's kind of it.
It's kind of like, we only got Pepsi. Sorry.
Yeah, you get that sometimes.
Who orders a Pepsi? We all order a Coke, and every time you ask for a Coke, they go, "Oh, I'm really sorry. We only have Pepsi." Yeah. They always apologize over Pepsi. Then stop serving it.
4D goes, that's good weight loss in 4 months. I lost about that much and fell off the wagon. Now back on the wagon. You know what you do, 4D? You got to change the way your lifestyle is. You can go off it and go have a day. You go to McDonald's or you're going to go have some big sushi meal, whatever the hell you do. But make sure once you've had your little, play around with the food, get back into the routine immediately.
You got to dump the carbs so you don't have any cravings.
Yeah, the carbs got to go. Then you don't crave. Like I do. I eat 2 meals a day. I don't snack in between nothing, and I'm all happy. I stopped wearing branded clothing in high school. Never understood the idea of being a walking billboard. I got to tell you though, Pat, my generation, you're a young guy, but for old people like me, and Blake's a child. He's just a young buck. But when old people like me, when I was a kid, you had to have your Levi jeans. So you could get them with either a little red tag on your ass or a little orange tag. But you didn't want to have Top Gun. You didn't want to have jeans with an elastic waistband. You didn't want GWGs, which are a Canadian thing with the big pocket thing. You wanted to do your Levi's. Everything was Levi jackets, Levi cords, Levi jeans. You got to have them. A boot cut. Got to be boot cut. You get rid of the flares, you lean and trim, and you look great. But I got to tell you, kids.
We have the big blues.
Yeah, the big blues are fine. Well, our friend Marty in Oregon, like he's got the overall, the rompers. Those are like big blues. They used to have the old, like the old, I'm dating myself. The real McCoys with Walter Brennan. Gee, Luke, let me get my big blues and we'll get on the tractor. That kind of thing. Canadian Tire, Bud Light, Starbucks, Tim Hortons all boycotted with us. Canadian Tire takes a hit too. Yeah, Canadian Tire. I don't know. What did they do? I know they were big on during the big disease that we're not allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
But they were pretty draconian there. Pretty awful. So I get that. Anyway, it's good to see Matthew Petty. Cuddle. I just want to play a humble captain. Just a humble captain. I got a nice Yankees jersey as a gift. Happily took off the little Nike logo. Yeah, I mean, I just look for an alternative. When it's a gift, what are you going to do, right? But Pinstripers, you're a New York boy, Wolfie, so you got to be proud of your team, the Pinstripers, right? Everybody loves the Yankees or hates them. Yeah. There's no middle ground with the New York. I happen to love the Yankees. When
I was a kid, I was a Dodger. I had all the Dodgers paraphernalia.
Yeah, so. Holy shit. Where's that? I got to do it. I'm going to look it up and see if I can play this little clip here. But there's a lot of, I notice on my sister Maureen's here, she's talking about, I won't play it because we'll get kicked off the internet.
My branded clothing was growing up for the most part was music, bands.
Tim Hortons just dropped a new merch line, and in a bold move, they actually used a Canadian guy to model it. not very on brand. Because, let's be honest, Chad here, he'll sell the shirt, sure. But he'd never get hired to wear the headset and hairnet.
Immigrants. Okay, holy smoke. Tim Hortons infamous for their, what is it? The temporary foreign worker hiring. And
Yeah.
the kids aren't getting there, right?
Have you seen the video of the one of the cabinet ministers today or something, or yesterday, was being questioned about the carbon tax? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it. Did you find that one where he's just he can't even answer because everyone's heckling and laughing so hard because the EU dumped their carbon tax?
Oh, yeah.
And Carney's standing alone, and his cabinet is like, everyone's like, so who are we trading with now? That's good, because Carney did that big speech against Trump saying the whole world was moving towards this. And
It's not Blake. It's Timmergrants. That was not a cartoon rendering of Blake. Okay? That has nothing to do with that guy. Crazy ass kids. 40, your secret's safe with us here. We won't broadcast that. Okay, so you got all the temporary foreign workers coming in, but we talked about Carney. We knew about that yesterday. The story broke. 90% of all tariffs coming into carbon tax tariffs coming into the EU are being dropped. They aren't doing it. And when you have 90% of everything you're importing with no carbon tax on it, how effective is any kind of carbon tax, the extra, 30% going to be, Blake?
Well, I mean, apparently he's meeting with the CEOs of the automakers. So this is going to be interesting. They're going to be saying, "You're an idiot. Get rid of it. It's not happening. We're not all going to be driving electric cars by force in 10 years."
Oh, yeah. I got a story on that too for you. That's a really good one. Okay. The insanity of the Liberal NDP carbon tax. Alberta Premier Daniel Smith on home heating, the federal government is now going to be charging $4 plus on the carbon tax. The gas only costs $1.72. So I don't know on what planet anyone thinks that makes sense. So can we hear the lady? She's going to talk. Okay, let's make her back.
On home heating, the federal government is now going to be charging $4.09 on the carbon tax, and the gas only costs $1.72. So I don't know on what planet anyone thinks that charging 2.5 times on a carbon tax with the base price of fuel is, especially in a cold climate like ours, makes any sense. On home heating, the federal government is now going to be charging $4.09 on the carbon tax, and the gas only costs $1.72.
Yeah, so I mean, massive markup on it, right? I mean, it just absolutely makes no sense at all. It's senseless, basically, right?
Again, a tax created to tax the air you breathe. It's just ridiculous. The whole thing has become a joke, and I think the rest of the world and Trump I think the United States and his leadership has basically said enough is enough with this crap. So.
All right, I got one here. It's called Zero Emissions Canada. Let's see what's going on with good old Zero Emissions Canada. So let's find that one. She's going down because there's a lot of links in that private chat. All right, here we go. Let's take a look. And automakers have asked Carney to repeal zero emission vehicle mandate. Now, this is from our very trusted tongue-in-cheek, kids, tongue-in-cheek, Globe and Mail. This is the gold check mark Globe and Mail. Oh my God, government pet newspaper publishing arm. But basically, what happened in protecting Canadian auto jobs? Carney is literally being told his EV mandate destroyed the whole industry.
Yeah,
and there's wake up, Canada, with that. So what this means? How can you do so? You got an EV mandate from the government, and you got the automakers saying, we don't want to do this. We can't do this. You're going to kill us if you do this. What happened to Jaguar? We just talked about Jaguar yesterday, going down from selling, I don't know how many vehicles, 3,000 some odd or whatever, down to they sold 49 cars last year because they went totally EV. They went totally woke. And it's just an absolute, they're going to go totally broke.
Well, let's face it. I mean, Carney and his group of WF banking heads have been attempting to take over the world with this whole new carbon credit / social credit banking system. It's failing. They're finally got their tails between their legs. They're running. I said this right from the beginning. Canada is a beachhead stranglehold area where these guys have a lot of power and control, and they've been using it as a jump off point to go into the US, and it looks like the EU is finally going to cave. So I think that's, but that's ultimately what they want. So they built this system not to fail. That's why they're desperate to hold it up. They're going to keep holding it up to take control. And without it, they have no raison d'etre to exist, right? That's the reason. Once that's gone, you don't need a Carney as prime minister. You don't need the bureaucracy that has been built around this idea of changing our economies completely around this carbon credit system / social credit system that would work based on your behavior and what you admit. The funny thing is EVs emit massive amounts of carbon. It has been shown that they do. Those batteries are major emitters. So is all the production of steel and all the materials that go into it. So I'm glad that we've got them on the run. I think it's happening. It's just Canada is they're dug in. They're entrenched here.
On a positive note, Blake, that one building behind you looks like a rising trout. A rising trout. That one building, that one there, that looks like a rising trout.
Well, there is a river that runs right below there.
A river runs through it.
And I've seen people fishing down there. Maybe Howard can tell us if it's got good fishing.
Yeah. Hey, sad news in the world of entertainment too. Just before we go, 12:57 here, so we're close to wrapping up. Michael Marsden, the actor from Reservoir Dogs, and he did a whole bunch of stuff. He was in Kill Bill, and you know him. He's one of the regulars. He was in Jackie Brown, and he's a good actor. But he passed away at my age, 67, a heart attack. Look after yourself, folks. We're here for a good time, not a long time, as the old Canadian band Troopers sang. Blake, do we get you tomorrow for tomorrow's program?
Independence Day, we'll be there.
All right, we're going to be celebrating America's birthday tomorrow. I don't know.
A special show.
1776. Oh, yeah, it's pretty easy. What is it? Almost through what? It's 1776 and 26. So it's a kind of a big one. 150, 250. What is that?
It's nearly 250.
It's nearly 250. We're almost
2027 will be your 250.
Yeah, when we do the World Cup, America, Canada, Mexico, I think is sharing the World Cup thing. Blake, your background is the Tyrell building from Blade Runner. Remember that? The little dove there and the replicants? Hey,
oh, yeah.
4D, you got to watch that movie in 4K. It's unbelievable. 4K. Okay, so we will be here tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the big, beautiful bill has passed. What's his name? Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem. Despite his grandstanding, his filibuster, it's gone through. So happy. Give us a thumbs up, kids. Put a like on the damn video and subscribe if you'd like to support us that way. We do appreciate it. And I do have a Patreon. It's non-political, mind you. That's the one caveat on that. But we have fun. It's like, music, if you like music and stuff. But anyway, here's a link for that. I'm dropping it in anyway because I'm like that. I like money. And besides, I'm stuck in Canada. I got to pay my old age security.
And taxes on it. Yeah.
Sucks to be Canada. All right, everybody. God bless America. Glory days ahead. You're entering into a beautiful golden age for the United States, Matthew Petty. Your pocketbook's going to be happy for Donald John Trump. Thanks, everybody. Let's wave goodbye to the children, Blake. Here we are. We're friendly.